Docker is an open source platform that automates the deployment, scaling, and management of applications using containerization technology. In this video, we're going to cover virtualization and containerization and what the difference is between the two things. We're also going to cover Docker files, Docker images, Docker containers, and how they all fit into the grand scheme of Docker in this video. This video will be a gentle introduction to Docker, and we're just going to be scratching the surface, so stick around, this is going to be fun and interesting. So why is Docker crucial to learn? If you are a developer or DevOps guy like me, you likely interact with containerization technologies daily. Even if you don't realize it, containers create reproducible, lightweight environments for running processes and are integral to continuous integration and deployment pipelines. If you deploy applications to the cloud, you're almost certainly working with container technology at some point in the process. Understanding containers is pivotal for advancing your web development career. But before we delve into what containers are, let's address a fundamental question: what exactly is a container? To fully grasp the concept of containers, we first need to understand virtualization, as these technologies are closely related. Virtualization involves creating virtual versions of physical resources, such as servers or operating systems, allowing multiple virtual machines (VMs) to run on a single physical machine. Each VM operates with its own complete operating system and set of resources, which provides isolation and flexibility, but can be resource intensive. Now, this technique is commonly used in the cloud if you're deploying something to AWS or an EC2 instance. Typically, what you're doing is spinning up a new virtual machine that you can then deploy your code onto. Now, virtual machines have a special type of program that can run and manage the life cycle of these machines. This program is called a hypervisor, and the hypervisor is in charge of virtual machines. It manages the life cycle, it starts them up, it stops them, it creates them, it deletes them, it provisions resources for them. Now, a common hypervisor that you would be aware of is VMware or VirtualBox. These are the programs that control the virtual machines. Containers, on the other hand, offer a more lightweight approach. They package applications and their dependencies into a single portable unit that runs on a shared operating system. This means containers use the same OS kernel as the host machine but run in isolated user spaces. This approach is more efficient compared to virtualization, as it eliminates the overhead associated with running multiple operating systems. Let's say on this host PC we want to run a set of processes, but we want these processes to run in isolation. We don't want them to touch anything else. It is where Docker comes into play. Docker is a program that manages the life cycles of containers, edit them, run them, and interact with them. So to sum up, containerization is the ability to create a lightweight environment where processes can run on a host operating system. They share all the same things in that operating system, but they cannot touch anything outside of their little bounded box. Both technologies aim to achieve isolation and portability, but containers are often favored for their efficiency and speed. They allow developers to create reproducible environments for applications, making it easier to develop, test, and deploy software consistently across different environments. Okay, so we've talked enough about virtualization and containerization. Let's see containerization through Docker in work. Let's get our hands dirty. So now let's install Docker. Now, to install Docker, whether you are on Mac, Windows, or Linux, there are examples of how to install it on the Docker website. You can see the commands for installation of Docker in a Linux machine on the screen. Follow the steps and you should be good. It's as simple as that. Now, let's see what we can do with Docker and run our first Docker container. Type docker space pull hello-world on your terminal. We could see multiple things happening in the terminal. Here Docker looks for the image locally. When it cannot find the image locally, then it goes to hub.docker.com, which is the image repository of Docker, where it searches for the image called hello-world and pulls that image to your local system. Now let us run docker space images command. This will list all the images that are present in the local system. You must have noticed the hello-world image. When it pulled it from the Docker hub, it had the :latest tag at the end of the image. This is the default tag for the latest image that Docker uses for its images. You can also make your tag and attach it to the image you create. Let's check the Docker Hub repository. You can find multiple images pre-built in the repository which you can use in your image while building a Docker file. For example, there is Postgres image in the Docker Hub repository. You can use this image and run it as a container with your data. Let us now pull Postgres image from the Docker Hub repository. We will run the command docker pull Postgres. It is again using the default tag latest while pulling the image from the repository. Now, let's run this Postgres image. We will give docker space run command with the image name and tag to run the container. Remember, when you run a container, it checks for the process defined in the image and runs the process. And if it couldn't find the process in the image, it runs the container and exits, and you won't see it in running state. We will see this in a minute when we create our own Docker file to run an application. Now here, since we ran a database container, the database is currently running in the container. So when we run the command docker space ps, we can see the container is running with the container ID. Docker run command is running two commands in the background, which are docker space create and docker space start, which create a container using the image and start the created container respectively. Here is another example to run an nginx container from the Docker Hub. Here -p is to map the port from inside container to outside the container, so 80:80 is instructing the Docker to map the port 80 of the container with the port 80 of the virtual machine outside the container. Now, if you check and run the command docker space ps, you can see the nginx server is now running. You can stop the Docker container using docker space stop command with the container ID shown in front of the running container. You don't have to specify a complete Docker ID to this command. The first few characters of the ID should work fine. To remove a container, use docker rm followed by the container ID or name, but remember the container must be stopped first. Now, let's create an image and write a Docker file. Remember, you have to give your Docker file name exactly like this. Here Docker will look for this file name to create an image out of it in the specified directory. From keyword in this line specifies the base image for your Docker container. In this case, it's a slim version of Python 3.9. This base image includes the Python runtime and minimal additional packages, making it lightweight. Workdir command sets the working directory for any subsequent instructions in the Docker file. When the container runs, it will start in the app directory. If the directory doesn't exist, Docker will create it. Copy keyword copies all files and directories from the current directory on your host machine to the app directory in the container. This typically includes your application code and any configuration files. Run command runs pip install inside the container to install Python packages listed in the requirements.txt file. The no cache state option prevents caching of the downloaded packages, reducing the image size. This command runs only when the image is created. Expose command in this line informs Docker that the container will listen on port 80 at runtime. It doesn't actually publish the port, instead, it serves as documentation and helps with port mapping when running the container. env command sets an environment variable name with the value world inside the container. Environment variables can be used by your application to configure behavior or provide information. cmd command specifies the command to run when the container starts. Here it runs the app.py script using the Python interpreter. The cmd instruction is used to set the default command and arguments for the container. This runs each time when container is started. Remember, there can be multiple run commands in a Docker file, but you can write cmd only once. If you want to learn more about Docker, like Docker Compose, mounting Docker volumes, or even doing things like port mapping, then leave a comment down below on what you would like to learn next. Thank you. We'll see you again in the next one.